Hello, one and all, to today's stream. Before we get started, we would like to go ahead and give a special thanks to the following people. First of all of our friends over in the Rogue Planet Games dev team who make PlanetSide possible for everyone. Then we also have our PSB organizers, Reltor and Sergeant Mile, as well as Varunda, who has worked tirelessly on the back end of our stream overlay to provide a quality viewing experience. So, pog out for Varundaddy, or Vowoondaddy, or whatever you want to call him. Then we also have Zulfa from Sammy on Connery, who has made our map overview video, Lydia and Infills for producing images that also make our stream overlays look really cool, Maelstrom26 for producing the PS2 Alerts website, for which some images have been pulled for today's stream. And then lastly, I mean, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I'm just going to go ahead and shamelessly plug myself. And also I'm going to shout out Casey, my good friend, for producing the community-created music that you will hear in today's stream, as well as other PSB streams. And, of course, for your daily dose of cringe, ladies and gentlemen, this stream has been brought to you by Nanite Systems. And God, let me tell you, I sleep like a baby. Wake up every hour, crying every morning, and then piss the bed. But you know what I found out, folks? Let me tell you. I've been getting a lot better sleep since Nanite Systems has been sponsoring PSB streams. Yes, I am a sellout, and I am proud of it. Nanite Systems. I would have a hard time having a nice night's rest coming home from work, brain busted open, busted neck, busted foot. And it is a problem when it comes to recovery, performance, immunity, feeling less stressed, and cringing. Yes, folks, cringing is in fact a problem, but not when Nanite Systems is around. Sleep is everything, and I now have found the answer in the documents that I have received here from our friends over at Nanite Systems. I have found the answer to better sleep in a delicious, healthy cup that tastes like something your grandmother made back when you were 5 years old. Folks, it's the Dream Powder from Nanite Systems, and it's changing the way everybody sleeps. With Nanite Powder, you're getting more than just quality shut-eye. You're providing your body with sleepy vitamins and minerals, like nanites, and more nanites. Nanite Powder is a guilt-free sleeping-inducing warm cup of organic, gluten-free, free-range cordium, and organic salt with 0 added calories and added sugars. There is proof in the powder, my friends. After taking Nanite Powder, over 99% of people feel an improvement in the quality of their sleep, and 97% of them feel more energized the next day. Less than 1% of all users got their cheeks clapped after taking Nanite Powder. It's the good stuff if you want better sleep and better days. If you want Nanite Powder, subscribe to PlanetSide Battles for awesome perks like free delivery and 35% off your first month. Plus, you can pause or cancel at any time. Sweet dreams, everybody. Nanite Systems, where it's not a bug, it's a feature. And, with that said, again, hello and all to today's stream. Tonight's stream brought to you by PlanetSide Battles, the community-driven organization for all things PlanetSide, inside and outside of the game. I am your host, Falco, and joining me today is none other than Niccom. Niccom, my man, how are you doing today, and how has your weekend been?
I am doing pretty well. My weekend's been pretty good. I'm ready to cast my first Outfit Wars match, so thank you guys for having me, and please be nice to me with my casting. Thank you.
Yeah, so everyone in chat, shout out to Niccom, and, you know, give him some sweet love and respect over in the stream chat. He's definitely stepping up here for this. So today's stream will be a treat. If you tuned into last night's main event on Connery, we had attempted to have... Actually, no, let me scratch that, because that's actually not working. We were trying to get multicam to work, but that's not working. Anyway, let's go ahead and review the Nexus game mode. So, Outfit Wars on Nexus is a singular match scheduled for one fall or most territory controlled within a 45-minute time limit. A 20-minute pre-match phase is granted for each team of 48 players maximum. Teams are denoted as Alpha, otherwise known as Red Team, and Omega, otherwise known as Blue Team. The rule set on the Nexus is that Bastion fleet carriers are disallowed, Colossus tanks are disallowed, and construction is disallowed. For all Planet Side Battles Outfit Wars streams, we're going to observe a 1-minute time delay, and with this delay, we will not show Warp Gate opener prep until the last minute of the prep phase. When we look at this weekend's set of matches, so last night, we saw the following. We saw Recursion winning out against FIFA, Dire winning out against Mother Killer, the Terran Alliance winning out to Go Hard Gaming, and Drunk Division observing Oktoberfest early against Legion of Coffee. For tonight, we have the following matchups: Unity versus Sovereign Army, Raxus Iron Guard versus Western Tactical, TWC The Wildcards versus Hell's Angels, and tonight's main event on Planet Side Battles, the reason why you are tuning in to this channel, the Vikings versus the Fate of Connery, which I believe is going to be one hell of a matchup. If we go ahead and take a quick look at the map overview, as most of you are already familiar with by now, we are going to be taking a quick overview of Nexus, which is this nice mountainous, hilly, snowy map that was developed back in 2013, if I recall correctly, and they've revived it for Outfit Wars of 2022. We're going to go ahead and start off by looking at the neutral bases. First of all is Bitter Gorge Garrison. It is a 3-point base. Relatively exposed, at least the bridges are, that connect B and C points over to A point. A point is underneath a rooftop, and B and C points are on the 3rd floor of triple stacks across on each side of the base. Then we also have Granite Head Reactor, which is the middle-most base. It's a 3-point base with a 2-minute and 20-second fast cap. You have a point underground, 1 point in a powerhouse, and a 1 point in a triple stack. Then you have Airzat Satcom Hub, which is a pseudo-tech plant, or a tech plant that has gone through a lobotomy. It is a 3-point base with a 2-minute, 20-second fast cap. It's built very similarly to a tech plant. You have a point on the 1st floor, a point on the 2nd floor, and then a square building on the roof. For the home bases, we're going to have the following. We have Hydroponics Compound and or Nexus Secure Substation, which is a 1-point base with a 4-minute capture time. The point is held within a powerhouse that is divided into 2 sections, where typically you would not have a wall that divides the lobby to big stairs. However, there is a wall that is covering that vision from big stairs to doors 3 and also the lobby. You also have Nexus Alpha and Omega, which is a 1-point base with a 7-minute capture. Definitely an exciting base to watch, but unless you're on the receiving end of things, if you are on the receiving end of things can be kind of crazy and wonky. Argent Pass and Slate Canyon Hold are our last bases that we're going to be looking through very briefly. It's a 1-point base with a 4-minute capture. Point is on, I believe it's more or less a double stack. It's connected to the spawn room via 5 bridges. Excuse me. And this is the overall map for the Nexus 2022. Alpha is going to be on the southwest, and Omega will be holding the northeast warp gate. And that is our map overview for Nexus Outfit Wars. So as mentioned in the title, and we are now officially mentioning it today on stream, is going to be Fate versus Viking. And I think we're up for a very exciting matchup. I think now that we're in round 3 of Outfit Wars, things have kind of leveled out, and we're seeing outfits that are kind of going against other outfits of appropriate skill set. So we may or may not be expecting a warp gate. I'd like to think that we're not expecting a warp gate and that it might hold out very close. We could be looking at a potential matchup similar to the Recursion matches yesterday, one on Emerald, where even though Recursion was held back to their warp gate, they were still holding it strong and they didn't give up. And then similarly on Connery, where we saw Recursion versus FIFA, where even though it looked like FIFA was held back to the warp gate, things were still very close into the better end. So with all that mentioned, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our teams now. Fate holds a 2-0 record with a ranking score of 818. Their leader is Frederick1. Faction is TR. Member count is 116 with a monthly activity of 83.62. Their Outfit Wars, their true Outfit Wars kill death ratio is 1.33 with a true headshot ratio of 21.63% and a total base capture count of 12. Niccom, what can you tell us about Fate that we wouldn't be able to pull from statistics alone?
Well, historically, Fate is a conglomerate outfit comprised of a couple of them, namely a lot of the ones from Rally. The biggest three that make it up, I believe, are going to be Dawn, or Army of Dawn, led by Frederick One, Brack, which is Blood Ravens, I think,
Yeah,
or
Blood
something
Raven
very
clan.
close to that. And that's led by Estronox. And then we've got Neon, which is led by Neogenesis. They have a lot of very strong infantry players among them, namely RC, Neogenesis, a lot of good pilots with them like Blue Lava, and I'm expecting to see a lot of very strong map movement plays by their force commander, Frederick One.
Cool.
On the Viking side, I don't know a whole lot more about them other than the outfits that make them up there. It's primarily 1TR and Prey. 1TR is making up a lot of their infantry, and beyond one of my members being a part of it on one of their other characters, don't know a whole lot about them. Prey, regarded as one of the strongest air outfits on Emerald, or Green Rock as we call it here. So should be a very strong air showing from them. Should be a good match overall, I think, and we'll see how it goes.
Some additional stats on the Vikings of Connery. They hold a 2-0 record with a rankings score of 600. Their leader, according to PlanetSide, is Thorger Svarsnol. I don't know who that actually is, but I'm fairly certain somebody will mention it in the chat. Their home faction on Connery is NC with a member count of 283. Monthly activity is 38.16%. Their true Alpha Wars kill death ratio is 1.10 with a true headshot ratio of 19.60%, with a base capture count of 11, which is just one under Fate. And that is basically the matchup that we have going on today, Fate versus Viking. When we look at stats, they are very close. When we've seen, we've at least I have been casting pretty regularly for Fate. I think they are a very strong team, but as Niccom had mentioned, Viking has a very convenient team configuration where they have strong infantrymans, and then they also have Prey up in the air. So, as far as I know, having talked to one of the leads in Fate, they definitely have their work cut out for them. And this is also just a shout out to my homeboys over in Brack. Eskernox has told me that the strategy is not only to click heads, but is also to pray to God that Bravo Squad carries Nox to the promised land. So, it is what it is with Fate versus Viking. We still have approximately just under 7 minutes left on our timer. Niccom, have you played on Nexus to any sort of degree? I'm assuming
yes,
so.
I have played 3 matches with FIFA.
Yeah, you're on FIFA. Yeah. So, can you just kind of talk about your experience on Nexus, what it's like, air dominance, what things are like as infantry, kind of tackling some of these bases in terms of like what points you might want to prioritize and whatever you really know, so that way some of our viewers who haven't really been who don't have an outfit that have been participating in Alpha Wars, just so that way they have an idea as far as what they would expect if they were in the environment.
Yeah, so mainly on the sides of the base and, of the map, air dominance is pretty king. You can see a lot of open terrain, a lot of very open sight lines, very easy to just die to air if you don't have that sort of dominating presence that a lot of teams have had. With the central base, there have been a lot of teams that are been very confident in getting, air to grounders in there to hit the B point, to hit the C point, triple stack roof, to more or less just really limit the mobility that teams might want when they try to play this base. And that has been really, really influential with the rest of the match's progression, because Granite Head, as we can see, has 3 lattice connections. It allows you to attack both Bitter Gorge, hydroponics, or Nexus Secure Substation, depending on what side you're on. It is insane. As far as the middle bases are concerned, Satcom, which is our gutted tech plant looking base over here, is very, very difficult for air to help with. So most of your presence here is going to be a lot of infantry, maybe some vehicles trying to set up logistics. But again, as you can see around the base, there is not a lot of room to put, you know, a Sunderer that isn't going to be swatted by aircraft if they see it.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of going around here with a pen, just circling certain parts of areas at SATCOM that are exposed to air. I've seen a couple times where people would try to anvil Sundays like right next to B point, which is the square building, but that usually doesn't work out that great because of just the exposure that you have to the air. Is there anything else that you want to go over?
There are on the rectangular bases in particular, a lot of very cheeky spots that you can get, you know, delivers, get Sundays in. I don't believe any bases have no deploy zones, so it's just whatever the natural range no deploy zone of Sunderers are, and you can get them nice and cuddled into like these triple or power stations, as I call them. That's probably something else. Someone will tell me. Someone will correct me in Twitch chat. It's fine. I'm just an airman. But yeah, so you can get a lot of tucked in spawns and logistics. As far as like openness, like if you're pushing from that spawn room, good luck. You have two connector buildings connected with a bridge in the center. But that is a lot of open ground to cover, friends. So if
are you talking about Argent Pass or?
I am referring to Nexus Secure Substation and Hydroponics Compound.
Okay.
Lots of open ground. So if you see enemy air, find cover, find a roof, stay safe.
I normally like if there's a defense that they're, you know, people are trying to attempt for like Hydroponics Compound or the mirror base Nexus Secure Substation, like there's usually, I'm just drawing this over on the stream, but you know what I'm talking about. There's that bridge that you mentioned that connects those two buildings. I see so many times where just you have air to ground just pelting that bridge to death. And then also in addition to that, just the ground that you have to cover from the end of that bridge to from that building that the bridge ends at to actually entering the powerhouse. That too can be also a little bit of a hassle. Because
it's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, it's a lot of ground to cover, and on top of that too, like you're trying to stage people to make sure your push is good, because you don't want people to just be flying in one by one and just getting picked off one by one. Like you want to have a strong push going in. So yeah, no, air to ground is pretty nutty when it comes to Nexus. Even though, you know, you might think that there's some buildings that have cover, which there are, but air to ground. This is such a small map. You can cover so much ground with air. So, yeah, we've definitely seen that as a trend throughout most Alpha Wars matches, where usually a team with a dominating air force, whether it be sustained throughout the match or, you know, usually dominating throughout the match, will tend to succeed and win the match. That being said, we have 1 minute left, so we are now within delay time. We see a anvil that is dropping over at Airzat Satcom Hub, our friendly lobotomized tech plant. But anyway, I'll move over to Alpha just to kind of showcase their opener. Area. Alpha is Fate. They have tons and tons and tons of Mozzies. Some names that we have going on here, we see Minnow, we have Rocky Fighter, Zuzu, Toasty Man, Fed, who is the leader. We see Neo Genesis. There is NS Chimbichangas NC Marshmallox VS. Don't ask why his name is like that. We see True SOB. Astronox is somewhere around there. He's named the Yandere Waifu. And then we also have on the flip side Viking, who are in a vast majority of them are in Reavers. We see three Galaxies, excuse me. But that's basically it. Here comes the match. Match is going to start right now. Again, this is a match scheduled for 1 fall or most territory controlled with a 45-minute time limit. The alert has started. I'm praying to God right now that the overlay is working correctly. So here we go. Air opener. Very typical.
As a side note, you see there's still like half of the aircraft available in the warp gates. It looks like both of these teams are double pulling, so that way their first pull is more or less free, which means we should see a lot of aggressive play at the start here.
Can you explain to our viewers what double pulling means?
Yeah, so double pulling is the ability to have 2 Reavers out without one of them despawning. When you pull a vehicle, you usually have ownership, and when you exit the vehicle, it'll be either 5 or 20 minutes, depending on if the vehicle is a Galaxy Sunday or none of the above. And when you pull a new vehicle, usually you lose ownership, and that vehicle will despawn after 2 minutes. Now, the fun part about that is you can use that vehicle that you no longer own instead of the one that you just pulled, and you can have that vehicle. And as long as you use the next one within 5 minutes, you'll have a free pull. Or 20, depending on what type your first pull or second pull is.
Okay, so we see an opening play for Granite Head Reactor. Viking going all in on all these points. They have A, B point, and C point flipped. Fate is not exactly responding with infantry currently at the moment. They have no reason to. They still have time. As a reminder,
they still have a lot committed to the air still.
Granite Head Reactor is a 2-minute 20-second fast cap. So long as they hold 1 point, they can burn time. Toasty Man unfortunately gets destroyed. I don't even need to go in there. You can see that his name is down and out. Let me go back up in the air. Let's see what we got going on over at Granite Head Reactor. Granite Head Reactor currently has A point flips for Fate. B and C points are currently contested. B point is being held by Fate. C point is being held by Viking. However, Viking does not have population here. So Viking is putting Pop into Granite Head Reactor, and Viking is putting Pop over into Bitter Gorge. Satcom Hub is currently on the fast cap with less than a minute left. Interesting to see this because usually I feel like people make the plays for Granite Head and Bitter Gorge, not so much Satcom. It would be very interesting to see if Fate wants to go ahead and try to steal this. They did do that last time when they went against WTAC last weekend. So I am expecting some sort of a steal. We do see a Galaxy moving in from Fate covered by Mozzies. They might be attempting to do a drop. Is that a fake Galaxy, or do we see people dropping down? We do see people dropping down. We see multiple people dropping down with a Galaxy and also a Valkyrie. They are storming the B point. They are flipping the B point. And Viking, we have some Vikings over here, but unfortunately it's not enough to counter that attempt for the capture. B and C points both are being flipped over at Arzat Satcom Hub. B point has fully flipped for Fate. And C point is being contested as well, also flipped for Fate. This might be looking at we might be looking here at a steal for Arzat Satcom Hub. So good play on Fate. They did this last weekend, and there goes the fast cap. It's looking like A points flipping. Arzat Satcom Hub goes over to Fate of Connery for the first base capture of the match. Granite Head Reactor doing some follow-up. Goes over to Viking for their first cap. So the last base for the opener is going to be Bitter Gorge. Currently, Fate is on all 3 points. No
we
Viking.
See a lot of Vikings coming in as fast as they can to try and
now they're
contest
coming
this.
in. So now they're coming in. Viking trying to push onto C point. They are being met by Oculus and also Nanite Investor. However, Viking has been able to successfully flip C point. Not yet. They're still fighting. Toasty Man, OnlyFans, Memento Mori have recovered C point from Viking. And we are looking at potentially a fake capture if they can sustain this defense. A point has flipped towards NC, who is Viking. They are holding that point. Amazi crashed by Mr. Bubbles, crashing into the point, but he gets shelled to death from the air. But with all
and
that
now
said,
we see the power of this
wow.
air superiority. The air hammer's coming out, but
Air
Fate
hammer's
gets the
coming
cap.
out.
They held it
Yeah,
on
so Fate
just
gets the cap.
long enough.
Fate gets the cap for Bitter Gorge Garrison. No timers have flipped anywhere else just yet. So that opener phase happened pretty quick. There wasn't too many points being contested, like, you know, fighting back between, like, you know, 1 point versus 2 other points. All those were fast caps, it looked like. We see here Viking over by Airs at Satcom Hub flipping B point. Let's take a look at our airplay right now. We see Neo Genesis getting chased by 2 Reavers. Those 2 Reavers are met by 2 Mozzies, which, flanking them from the left side, we have 2 additional Mozzies, a couple Reavers, and more hell in here. Good luck trying to cast this.
It's all good. I got this. It looks like we have.
I'm saying that to myself.
It looks like we've got approximately equal commitment currently to the air from both sides.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more on the Mossy side from Fate than from the side from Vikings. It is very important not to overcommit too hard to air, because if you do that, you obviously don't have anyone on the ground fighting for those points, fighting for those base flips, and getting those back kicks going. Currently fighting for control. It looks like they're being pushed back, Vikings, to the mountains, which, I mean, if you're playing as Vikings and you want to sit back, more power to you. Let them trickle in, let them die, and once they've overcommitted too hard, you punish the rest of them and you kill them off. And that is exactly what we're seeing now.
Vikings
3
live in the
Reavers
mountains.
going in on all of these Mossies one at a time, just picking them off.
All right, what base are you at right now? What are you looking at?
What am I looking at?
Yeah.
I'm above Granite Head. We do have a
Okay.
back cap from Vikings on Nexus Secure, actually.
Yeah, so there's a back cap on Nexus Secure, which is being back capped by Hydroponics Compound. So we are kind of looking at a potential double
Base
cutoff.
race?
Yeah, double cutoff base race situation. Fate is committing more pomp into Hydroponics Compound, and so far, Fate does not have any air to support this endeavor at Hydroponics Compound. Viking, however, are keeping air up in the skies, trying to keep an eye on any potential, I'm assuming any potential air from Fate. We see some Vikings pushing in, population's increasing for Viking with 60%. We have a skirmish happening on the point. There's smoke out. We're slowly seeing Fate numbers dwindle. Point is flipping over at Hydroponics Compound. Good job to Viking. You can see their names right there. There's a lot of crazy Viking names that I can't pronounce. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce them, so there you go.
Meanwhile, we also have a Slate Canyon back cap going through for Fate. And looks like
Yeah, so
just a small commitment right now, not too much.
Slate Canyon hold, and its brother base or sister base, Argent Pass. This is a really interesting base to fight at, and I'm just gonna go ahead and draw on the map. Actually, no, disregard that. We have drop in action happening over by the point. Viking has dropped to Valkyrie. Fate is bunkering inside of the point building. They are holding the first floor. They have eliminated Moog Knight, Thorn, I don't know. More Viking names. More Vikings trying to push in. There's smoke being popped. Fate numbers are slowly dwindling once again. Viking is recovering this point.
Also important to note, I don't believe Fate has any buses in the area, so whatever they have on point here is what they have to fight this. They might have beacons. It's kind of difficult to tell when all the names are red for me, but you know, we make it work.
All right, so yeah, Fate has been eliminated from this point over at Slate Canyon Hold. So Viking with a successful defense over there. More action happening across the map. Just as a quick overview, Hydroponics Compound has been recovered. Nexus Secure Substation appears to have a little bit of defense happening for Fate. And They are recovering it. So now we're going back into the air. And when I say back into the air, I mean looking at prey, because there's no monsters up in the air currently.
Currently, they're starting a cap at Bitter Gorge. We've got a very healthy response from Fate from their spawn room. However, as we have seen, that air superiority is coming into play. We've got a cast valve going in. We've got rocket pods from Reavers. It is going to be an absolute nightmare for Fate to try and get there. But as I say that, they've got plenty of anti-air in the form of strikers.
So as I mentioned earlier, and please forgive me for that drawing, I didn't mean for it to look that way. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier and as I circled earlier, there's some parts in Bitter Gorge that are exposed to air, predominantly like those bridges and just any amount of ground that you have to cover from point to point. Fate was able to cover that, and I think that has a lot to do with Viking just not looking in that general direction. So, but A and B points are currently under Fate's control. B point being flipped. Let's see what we got going on over by B point. And Lullagon and Fatal Knives have recovered B point over at Bitter Gorge Garrison. We see a drop on A point by Viking. More Viking names trying to push onto the point. Airhammer is taking down Beveltine. Hello Kitty Viking Adventures, the only Viking name that I can pronounce in this damn team. Making plays, taking out OnlyFans on Fate.
And while this is going on, we've had 2 back caps, one at Arizak, which looks to have been fixed by Fate already, and one at Nexus Secure, which is still ongoing. Lots of Viking pop there, probably about a squad.
Yeah, so right now, Fate is kind of playing a little bit of a defensive game. They're not playing too defensively. They're just kind of holding out for now. They might just be kind of stumped as far as what they need to do. I think a lot of, and this is just my experience having played in like certain of like quote-unquote competitive events like Community Smash and Lane Smash and other Smash competitions, well, predominantly Community and Lane. A lot of the time, like, you'll have a plan, and you'll kind of go with the plan, but it ends up derailing, like, once you make it in the first 10 minutes of the match. So, when it comes to Nexus, and you're kind of, like, at a standstill, like, can you just kind of talk about, like, what you think leadership is kind of going over, if you're able to even, like, think about what they're thinking about in terms of how to get things going? Like, are they thinking about, like, okay, we're gonna do, like, a full pop drop, or... I don't know.
For the most part, I led air. Most of what I was trying to do was like shoot other planes as best as I could, because it is a very individual ability sort of thing, and I use a lot of my focus on that. For squad leading, it's probably going to come down to where do we need to be right now, what is under attack. And in Fate's case, it's how do we put out these fires right now that we have, because they are back on Arizak, they still are on Nexus Secure, and they are committing very, very heavily to this Bitter Gorge defense, which it does appear that they are fixing right now.
Well, I'm fairly certain they do want Bitter Gorge because it has 3 lattice connections, so losing that, you know, Arizak Satcom doesn't really help them out too much with only 2 lattice connections, and Viking holds Viking holds Granite Head Reactor. Here we see a push by Fate, pushing in Dubnub, Trulius, Fedric, the Yandere Waifu, Eskernox himself pushing onto the point. They clean house, they have overpop. 63%, they have recovered one of their quote-unquote warp gate bases. I say warp gate base, it's adjacent to their actual warp gate base, Nexus Alpha. So, good on them for recovering that. They dedicated a number of people over here. While all the while, Bitter Gorge has not been flipping any one way or the other. So, to some degree, good call on that. They realized that they were having a hard time defending secure substations, so instead of trying to finagle around and monkey around trying to mess around with numbers, just slam everyone in. reset, figure out what you got to do from there. There's that SATCOM hub. Currently is under a minute capture with all 3 points flipped for Viking. There's that SATCOM hub currently under control for Fate. Viking really denying Fate entry into the building. C point is being flipped. Let's go ahead and make our way over there. You see Mr. Bubbles on point. He gets taken down. Yandere Waifu Core, Tree Man, all taken down by Viking. Viking has recovered C point. They're looking to close this very fast with a full fast cap.
Well, I'm getting some hitching. That does appear to be the case, and as we see Fate trying to contest B point as the easiest one to drop on and get to, we also see, holy moly, the amount of air-to-ground just denying them entry into that pillbox.
So there we go. Viking, again, air superiority, huge. As in Yell Chat, sending him to Valhalla. So this base goes over to Viking. There is now an anvil that's being dropped over by Nexus Secure Substation. And that is by Viking. They might be trying to get some spawn logistics next to the point of some sort. Never mind, that is a harasser. They're probably going to be trying to do some harasser cheese. And they are definitely cleaning house. Well, unsuccessful in running people over, so. Memento Mori trying to contest. Lead of Viking gets taken down. Lead of Viking gets taken down by Blue Lava. Fate trying to push in through the current angle being door 1 of the powerhouse, where Viking and Gunner Sky Grederson and some more Viking names that I cannot pronounce. They are doing a good job zoning Fate from entering the powerhouse over at Nexus Secure Substation.
Currently at Granite Head Reactor, we've got 3 points in favor of Fate. We see a lot of these infantry players from Fate staying inside the second floor of that triple stack, being underground by the 8 point a little bit.
Ooh, wow!
Trying to be as big of a nuisance as they can.
Huge loss from that Valkyrie death. A fire team of Vikings in that Valkyrie just died because the Valkyrie got shot down. Good on Fate for that defense there, that defensive action. So,
and I will say I'm very happy with what I'm seeing from Fate, regardless of their current standing position. They are trying to be aggressive. They are trying to start caps with what they have available to them. And once these Bitter Gorge, Garrison, and Nexus Secure potentially go through, that is all that they have going for them in the aggression. So hopefully they can get this through and give themselves more room to work with as far as back capping and getting more territory for this match. As I say that, it looks like the air hammers are coming in, raining down the M30 Mustang
B point
shells.
being flipped over at Granite Head Reactor. Viking all on point over by B point.
Yep.
So now
we're probably going to see the systematic movement of just going from point to point from Vikings, clean them all out one at a time, because they know that Fate's not leaving that triple stack wherever they are. There's so much air looking, watching, hungering for them to come out and play.
Viking have flipped all 3 points at Granite Head Reactor. They have successfully recovered this hex. We're looking at a very troublesome situation for Fate over by, oh my god, all of this air, I swear. Alright, making my way over to Nexus Secure Substation, where Viking, they were knocking, I missed it. I can't believe I missed it. So Viking was knocking on the warp gate of Fate, but Fate was successful in recovering the point. Sorry for missing that. I was just awestruck by all the air.
What I'm most surprised about is I don't think any territory has changed hands in the last like 10 minutes of this game. I think that's astonishing, and it goes to show just how tooth and nail these teams are fighting for every inch they get.
Well, Erzat Satcom Hub was flipped 4 minutes ago by Viking, but that's the only one, and it's usually a low priority. So, like, Bitter Gorge, Granite Head Reactor, Nexus Secure, like, those bases are pretty core when it comes to what appears to be the current developing meta for Nexus, those 3 bases. And they all, like you mentioned, have been held down. So each outfit